Hello, ladies and gentlemen, Tevaron here, and welcome back to Torment Tides Numenera Beta. Let's get on with our mission here. We are supposed to be looking for the Order of Truth. Not at all sure that that's what we want to do first. Otero last time told us that we should observe some sort of execution that's going on the stage over here. Let's see what we can glean from that. Yen the Overseer, a stout, middle-aged man, stands atop the execution platform. He wears the badge of a city official, and a fringe of dreadlocks hangs down to his shoulders from his otherwise bald pate. He gives you a disinterested look as you approach. Please stay back with the others. What's going on here? He casts a brief glance over his shoulder towards Riss. The prisoner, Riss of Flatwater, is being publicly executed as a warning to all who would flout the laws of Sage's Cliffs. So, what's his crime? Treason. He sold state secrets to the enemies of Sage's Cliffs. Okay, so how does this execution work? Another rustic. It is very simple, sir. Our nanos induce in him a hallucinogenic state. In this state, he experiences visions. Nightmares, really? He speaks of the things he sees, and his words become flesh as they leave his mouth. We shape the flesh into a human-like form. The death you see beside him. Okay. He gestures toward the hideous figure which looks to be made of rotting viscera. Guess that's this naked thing here? As more strands escape his mouth, his death wraps them around him, and they slowly crush the life out of him. Sounds horrible. Once the condemned is dead, the devourer of wrongs will eat his corpse. He raises his chin, proud. Thus is the justice upheld in Sage's Cliffs. Okay. What do his words mean? He shrugs. Some believe there is wisdom to be gained from the rantings of the condemned. I have never gleaned any. Others say that the torment of the condemned means nothing, but it deters I think that's supposed to be would-be. Deters would-be criminals from committing offenses of their own. I have never noticed that to be true either. Okay, so why does the devourer of wrongs eat executed criminals? He smiles, grim. He is of the Dendra O'Her, who can suck the memories of the dead from their marrow. In those memories is not only the proof that the condemned were guilty, but also memories of their compatriots and other associates. Many an accomplice has been found out in the belly of the devourer. Sounds like it could be very much exploited to rid those in power of those that they just wish to be rid of. I don't know why I would ask what it would take. Maybe he could be a companion? Is there any way to talk to Riss himself? What would it take to free him? He laughs, then sobers quickly. The only thing that could free him would be a pardon from the council. And for a luckless nobody like this, that's about as likely as me growing wings. Okay, then. I still don't know why I would want to. I haven't seen any reason to free him. Let me ask you something else. My patience is not endless, friend, but as you wish. Who are you? He bows slightly. I am Yen. overseer of capital punishment, charged by the council with organizing public executions and making sure they run smoothly. So, goodbye, Yin. Do these folks have anything to say? If you ask me, the victim's speaking nonsense, delusions of a dying mind, nothing more. The lovely words of a dying man, I must remember every one. Sounds rather morbid. Intrigued woman. This woman listens intently to the ravings of the man on the nearby dais. Hanging on every word, she gives you a hesitant smile. Can you understand it? I know he is speaking great wisdom, if only I could decipher it. So, why do you assume he's speaking great wisdom? That's not a choice for us to ask, but... So what exactly is your interpretation of what is happening here? An execution. She gestures toward the man on the dais. They put the condemned into a trance, and he speaks of the wondrous things he sees. His words become tendrils of corrupted flesh, wrapped around his body until they crush him to death, and the devourer of wrongs eats him. And why is everyone watching this? I know why, because, mob mentality and gruesome spectacles is what kept the Romans in check with the Colosseum and other things. She shudders. Most are only thrill seekers and the morbidly curious, but some of us gather to hear the words of the condemned. They are said to contain the most sublime truths, for they are born from the dreams of the dead. We listen and try to understand their meaning. Yeah, sounds like poppycock to me, but, I'm not familiar with this world, so... Stay true, friend. Let's talk to this spectator. Shh, I'm trying to listen. Okay, whatever. Excited man. This man watches the execution with fevered eyes. He shakes his fist. Traitor! Traitor to the city! As you approach him, he gives you a savage grin. Nothing better than to see a traitor die, aye? So, what's your interpretation? Justice, the sagest Cliff's way. He jerks a thumb to the dais. We make traitors and murderers spill their guts, then strangle them to death with them. We also force them to speak their nightmares to scare other criminals into going straight. He laughs. And if that doesn't do it, then knowing that the devourer of wrongs is going to eat your body after you die will. Makes me sick just thinking about it. Doesn't seem like it makes you sick, since you're watching with such glee. So why are you and everyone else watching this? To see justice done. He thumps his chest. If somebody hurts my city, I want to see them hurt twice as bad, and getting crushed to death by your own words is as bad as it gets. Alright, well, bye, lunatic. Who's this? Tiber? So this guy has a name. Or Tiber, maybe? Hello. Pacing the edges of the crowd is a paunchy old soldier with the swaggering stride of a boulevard cavalier. At the moment, however, his jauntiness seems overshadowed by worry, and he alternates between watching the execution and searching the crowd as if looking for a miracle. Then, his eyes light on you. I say, he says with a hopeful grin, you look like the sort of fellow who believes in justice. How would you like to help a poor soul wrongfully condemned? Oh, so this is why we're wanting to get him out of this. We should have spoken with Tiber first. So what kind of help do you need, sir? He puts a hand to his chest. I need nothing, but my friend there on the gibbet, poor dear Riss, who I have known since the cradle, he is dying by the word. The nightmares his executioners have induced in him spill from him with every line he speaks, and wrap round him like a snake. He glances at the execution. I know there are but a few strands around him now, but in a few days' time they'll choke the life out of him. I cannot imagine a more horrible way to die. He leans in. You'll need to be swift and willing to hold justice above law. But there is a way to save him if you will hear me out. So, who exactly are you? He bows.
Captain Lachen Tiber, retired, at your service. Once a soldier of fortune, now its plaything.
He takes another look at Riss.
But my story can wait. Saving Riss's life comes first.
So, why is your friend being executed?
A horrible misunderstanding. Riss and I were hired to deliver some expensive brandy to an out-of-town buyer. That's our trade, you see. The secure delivery of valuable items.
He breathed a sigh, weighted with disgust and regret.
But we were misled. The bottles turned out to have state secrets hidden within, and when Riss was caught with them, he was accused of selling information to the enemies of Sage's Cliffs. They called him a traitor.
Tiber's eyes blaze with righteous fury,
as if the poor lad knew what was stuffed in there. It's a travesty of justice.
Well, if what you say is true, then I agree. It's very much a travesty of justice. So, yeah, if you were part of the scheme, why aren't you up there with him? Well, it's not really a scheme. Let's hope he doesn't get offended at this question.
Luck. Fortune. I was taking a piss when the levies came in. Went through the back window and up to the roof.
He shakes his head.
Watched poor Riss being led away from my hiding spot. Swore I'd get him free. I hope it's a promise I can keep.
All right. So, I mean, I know why he's helping Riss, but we might as well go through these conversations.
Is friendship not reason enough?
He hangs his head.
Actually, truth to tell, there's more to it than that. I'm partly to blame for him being up there, and guilt's a strong motivator, eh?
All right. Well, I would like to talk to your friend. I don't think that's possible, but...
Tiber sputters. Are you mad? It's an execution. He's surrounded by levies. They won't let you near him. And even if they did, he's out of his head. You'll get nothing but gibberish from him.
I still want to try. Tiber holds up his hands.
As you wish. Just don't say I didn't warn you. The levies are not to be trifled with.
Okay, so what's your plan?
Oops. A simple one, but it requires nerve, and a face not my own. Listen.
He lowers his voice.
It would be nothing for someone of your noble demeanor to masquerade as a city official and ask the council cleric for an archived copy of an old stay of execution. Once you have it, I'll write out a fresh one and add Riss's name. Then we'll present it to the overseer here, and poor Riss will be set free.
He spreads his hands.
There you have it. A foolproof, risk-free plan.
Well, risk-free for you. Wouldn't it be simpler to talk to the crowd at the execution, convince them to rise up and free Riss? Tiber looks uneasy.
Well, you're welcome to try, friend, but leave me out of it. Sage's Cliff's crowds are notoriously bloodthirsty, and the execution officials are not known for their sense of humor. You might regret it later, and you'd be alone when you did.
All right, well, where do I find the... Yeah, why do you need a face not your own? Are you not well liked?
Because the council clerk knows me now. I've been pleading Riss's case to him every day this week, but to no avail. The task needs a face he doesn't know, and hopefully he doesn't know yours.
Well, I would very much wager he doesn't know mine. Nobody really does. So where do I find this clerk?
He'd be in the government square, of course. There's a podium outside the council tower. I've never not seen him there.
All right. We'll help you, I suppose.
Excellent. Then you will need a proper story and a badge of office. Fortunately, I have the first, and you can buy the second from Sangalin, the clothing merchant in Government Square.
Okay. I don't really have much money.
He folds his arms. Once you have a badge of office, you will tell the council clerk you are there from the Judicial Oversight Committee, looking into corruption in the commutation? Okay, I guess that's correct. Looking into corruption in the commutation of capital sentences. I know the word commute. I've never heard the word commutation. The stay you're asking for is that of a notorious gangster named Cole Cardon, who was mysteriously set free a few years ago. When you get Cole's stay of execution, bring it here to me. I'll make a copy with Riss's name on it, and you can give it to the overseer who will free him. You see? Simple. He rubs his hands together. Now, if you'll let me join you, I'd be happy to show you around the city and help you with all this. Whatever else you have going. What do you say? Okay, come on. It will be my pleasure. But let's hurry. There's not a moment to lose. Riss hasn't much time. Well, I mean, the way you and everybody else has spoken about it, he has a couple days' time, but guess I see your meaning. Alright. Okay, let's save quickly here. It's always good in the old school type of RPGs to save frequently. We'll do save number 5. Alright, so it seems like there are several options we can take. Can we actually get up here and speak with this guy? Doesn't look like it's going to... Oh, can I talk to the levy? Or the levi, however it is? Oh, I guess I'm talking to Tiber. Thanks for taking me on, lad. Always good to have a friend watching your back, eh? He grins. Now, what can I do for you? Well, how are you holding up? I'm fine, lad. I just hope you won't regret our friendship when the time comes to part ways. And why would you say that? So, what do you think about Callistag? I mean, you haven't known her long, I'm assuming. Gossip and backbiting, is it? I'm always game for that. Ask away, lad. So, what do you think of Callistag? I knew her once, before she, diversified. Lovely girl, but I'm not sure if more is better in this case. So you're talking about her other forms. I guess she got those when she discovered the other realms somehow. So what else do you think about her? Same thing. Alright. Other questions. Tell me about yourself. Anything new to say? My favorite subject. Ask away. You told me you were a soldier. Anything else to say? I'm just a simple son of toil, he says, waving an airy hand. At least I was until the winds of war swept me up from my father's farm and tossed me into the world. And those simple farmers' values have been both my downfall and my salvation, time and again. I'd imagine so. So you were a soldier. Well, you have something else to say, I see. Amazed I've still retained my sweet nature, honestly. Okay, if you say so. Indeed I was, and not the worst of them either, if I do say so myself. He thumps his chest with his fist. Never fought for a cause I didn't believe in. Never struck a blow that wasn't deserved. Well, from your point of view, at least. So, you say your simple values have given you trouble. How? Because I'm always taking people at face value. No matter how many times I get my fingers burned, I'll keep thinking that an honest face means an honest heart. Nothing could be further from the truth, but do I remember that? He laughs bitterly. Never. So I've adapted my approach over the years. I reward kindness with kindness, cruelty with justice, and foolishness with object lessons on the ways of the world. He winks, but there is something somber there. Everyone has their lessons to learn in this life. Best that your teachers are kind men, I always say.
Kind of like this guy. I just had the feeling that there's more to him than is being let on, though. So, who did you fight for? He gets a faraway look in his eye.
Well now, many masters over the years. My first commission was with the cattlemen of the plowshares, trying to keep the slave families of the Sages Protectorate from getting their hands, the bird folks, getting their hands on the bird folks' grazing land. He shrugs.
All right. So, something else. All right. Yeah, that's it for now. I want to see if we can't speak with these levies here. Looks like we can. Or levy? Yeah, levy. Can I get by? Thank you. Here we go. This man is large and broad shoulders, and his steel armor is painted in the silver and indigo colors of Sage's Cliffs. He seems to be an ordinary soldier or constable of the city. Too ordinary, perhaps. As you scan his face, you see that his features are plain, forgettable, almost generic. Not only that, his eyes are a little too large. His smile too firmly fixed on his face. Are they using clones for guards? So, are you with the City Watch? The soldier peers at you, smile never leaving his face. You must be a stranger to this city, perhaps from one of the Autochthonous, I don't know that word, Autochthonous tribes along the frontier. Allow me to welcome you to Sage's Cliffs, visitor. He speaks the final word like a title, almost an honorific. I am a levy. You may rely upon me and others like me for protection and assistance at the discretion of the council and the slave families. So you call yourself a levy. What does that mean? Every citizen is required to raise a levy for the protection of the city. In times of war or strife, citizens are sometimes called upon to raise additional levies, but this has not been required since a dread destroyer crossed the northern frontier 34 years ago. So, you are raised by citizens? In quotes there? Yes, a year of life is taken from a citizen. The lost year is used to create a levy. He pauses ever so briefly, though his smile remains fixed in place. That is why our lifespans are precisely 1 year long. When our spans are up, we degrade into our component matter, it says. If you are curious about the process, I have been instructed to direct you to the Order of Truth, where you may observe the machine that is our parent. Okay, so they're not clones. They are stealing life from people and making guards out of them. I don't know how I feel about that. Alright. So, how much time do you have left before you degrade into your component matter? 4 months, 7 days. Examine him carefully. If you saw the face of this man on the streets of a city, you wouldn't glance at him twice. His features are utterly ordinary and forgettable, not too ugly, not too handsome. It is, indeed, almost like he is an average of many thousands of men, their idiosyncrasies and imperfections merged into a bland middle ground. The exceptions, of course, are the eyes, which are just a bit too large for the face, and the fixed, ever-present smile. Taken together, the man's features give you a vague sense of unease. I'm not even seeing his face that clearly, and I'm getting a vague sense of unease. Examine him one more time, please. The levy's features are utterly ordinary and forgettable, as if he is the average of many thousands of men. Okay, so just repeating the last little paragraph there. So, who are the council and slave families? Indeed so. Each slave family sends me one representative, usually the head of the family, to sit on the council. We are required to follow their commands. Okay. So you really serve the council, not the people of the city? Yes, that is correct. Alright, so what's happening here? It is an execution for treason. The condemned man was found guilty of selling state secrets to a foreign power. I'd like to go up on the platform. I am privileged to inform you that you cannot. The levy manages to make it sound like a piece of excellent news. If you wish to discuss the matter further, please direct your inquiry to the official in charge. He points to the indigo-clad man on the projecting edge of the dais. All right. Farewell. So can we talk to this man again and get a little headway? I want to talk to Riss. He snorts. Impossible. No one speaks to the condemned. It is against the rules. So... Ooh, we can deceive? How hard is that? Not super hard. Let's try it. Failure. I sympathize, but I can't. It isn't worth my position. If I were caught, or you were to get yourself killed by his death, I'd lose everything. Is that all, or do you have more questions? I still want to talk to Riss. I told you before it was against the rules. Put it out of your mind. So, we can try again for 2 cost and use persuasion instead of deception. Let's try that. That looks like we can accomplish that. Yes, success. He shakes his head. Speak to him if you must, but don't expect him to speak to you or hear you. He's past that now. Good day. Alright, and this guy cleared out of our way. Nice. Move over here. I'm gonna save it again. Alright. Let's go up here. Once there were things other than hate in her eyes. Now it is all alone. Okay. Riss. Riss stands eyes open, but seeing nothing, speaking an unending stream of gibberish. With each word, a rope of slimy flesh inches from his mouth, and taking up this rope is a hideous doppelganger, seemingly made up of the same diseased viscera Riss spews, who paces around him, slowly wrapping him in it like a spider its prey. Only a few rotting loops cinch Riss's chest. It looks like it will take a long time to cover him completely, but his twin is patient, and it continues to circle him without complaint. Can you hear me, Riss? We make love upon shards of shattered marble. We laugh at the kiss of the wind. Oh, the poor lad. He's never said anything that poetic in his life. Riss, are you in there? The flows no longer sing their song. Something has poisoned their beds. One more time, are you in there? He howls unintelligibly. Keep on. One more time. I don't understand what you're trying to say. What does the wound want? How may I heal it? What will slake its hunger? Are you still in there? Still don't understand, sir. The white. Nothing will kill us. Nothing will devour the world. I don't understand. He laughs maniacally, so have we exhausted this one now too? Farewell. Beware, do not look into the fire, it looks back. Ooh, can we speak to the doppelganger then? The strange homunculus pays no attention to you. It seems to be made of the unnatural entrails that spill from Riss's mouth, wound together to form the shape of a man. As you watch, it winds more of those entrails around Riss's torso, almost as if trying to make him a copy of itself. Okay, he shudders and turns away.
They say that's his nightmares coming out of him. I say it's giving me nightmares standing so close.
What are you doing? The doppelganger does not reply. It does not seem to have heard. Can you hear me? I'm talking to you. Once again, the homunculus does not respond. Or homunculus, rather. It may not even be able to perceive sound. Let's leave it alone. For now. Overseer Yan chuckles.
Wise choice, friend.
Very wise indeed. Can we talk to the Devourer? An enormously fat figure stands near the back of the execution platform. Because of its eyeless metal mask and the obscuring layers of devices and filters it hoses it wears, you can't be sure if it's a man or woman, or even if it's entirely human. Its thick neck bulges and clenches as if it was chewing something. You get the feeling that, despite the blank mask, it is watching you. Who are you? Its voice rumbles like a distant earthquake.
I am the devourer of wrongs.
What is your role in the execution?
I eat the dead and learn the details of their crimes through the memories that are bound within their flesh.
So, goodbye. I don't think there's anything we can really do up here. Yeah. We'll try one more time to talk to Rios now that we've talked to those other two. Are you in there? Okay, so it's still a no-go. I don't know if there was other abilities or skills that we could have taken in a different build that would have made us able to do something with him instead of something else. Let's try to rally the crowd. If you find it depressing, why are you watching it? I was just walking by. I don't know why I stopped, really. Something in her manner makes it feel like there's more to it than that, however. You stopped because you want to do something. You want to be the one to make a difference. She stands up straighter but says, Me? What can I do? I'm a nobody. All I can do is watch. I've seen you watching the crowd. You outnumber the levies 2-1. They just need a leader. Unmoved woman. She cringes, shivering. A leader? I've never... No, you're right. That's why I'm here. And somebody has to do something. Why shouldn't that somebody be me? Why shouldn't I be the hero for once? I'm ready. Okay. So do we need to rally some other people? What are we waiting for? Let's get this started. The man glances at you, then returns his full attention to the execution. Good to see you again. Back to see the traitor die. Do you really care if he's a traitor, or do you just like watching men tortured to death? He snarls at you. How dare you? It's justice that's important to me, and protecting my city. And is justice always handed out equally in Sage's Cliffs? I'll bet the rich never pay for their crimes around here, not even the traitors. He pauses. You've got a point there. I've never seen any high-siders spill their guts on the platform, or heard of any of them ever being accused of treason. What do you know that I don't? Let's try persuasion. This poor fool took the fall for some rich traitor. That's a mockery of Sage's pride. We should free him. Yes, we'll spend some more, even though we're running out of intelligence points there in our pool. Success. The man grinds his teeth, thinking, then finally nods. Aye, us small fish are always taking the fall, but not this time. Alright, so that's 2 that we've got stirred up against him. That spectator can't. That one can't. Can we do... Oh, it's the ones that aren't actually called spectator. Let's move back so I can get a better look. Maybe the horrified man. This man stares at the execution in utter horror. He cannot look away.
No crime deserves such punishment. How can this be allowed?
The horror of it will deter others from crime? No. Why is everybody watching this?
They are animals. They find pleasure in cruelty.
So, I guess I have to go through these options before I can maybe persuade him?
A walking nightmare, though they call it an execution, he shudders. The unfortunate victim is put into a trance that forces him to speak his nightmares, while at the same time his words spill out of him as a rope of flesh that is then wrapped around his body until it crushes him.
He shakes his head.
And the indignity doesn't end when the poor wretch finally dies, for the monster behind him eats his flesh.
So, I don't really have an option. We can say the horror of it will deter others from crime.
Utter nonsense.
I kind of agree, but
punishment for bad behavior won't change a man. Reward for good behavior is far more effective, and if that's what really mattered to the authorities. This is nothing more than spectacle, an amusement for the masses. If I had any courage...
Yeah, I agree, it's amusement for the masses, as it has been in history past in the real world as well. Let's say... join me and we'll put an end to it now. He looks at you frightened.
End it? Are you saying we should interrupt the execution?
Well, you said the punishment should not be allowed. Did you mean it? Can a just man stand by when injustice is the law? Oh, so we don't have to spend points this time. Good. The man seems to shrink in his skin.
My friend, I am a coward. I always have been, but you are right. If a man does not stand by his beliefs, what is he? I will do it.
Great. How many more of these people do I need to convince? I guess the intrigued woman is the last of the named spectators? Or sort of named spectators? The woman continues to listen to the ravings of the condemned man. I must remember every word so I can find the insight in them later. So, what if I told you he was innocent? That would be terrible, wouldn't it? But his words seem so wise. Well, even if that were true, it is wisdom gained through another man's pain. Can that even be called wisdom? She frowns, thinking, I suppose you're right. But what he says seems so important. Does it matter? He's going to die no matter what I do. And what he says could be important. As important as an innocent man's life. Help me save him. Wisdom can be gained without harming another. The woman hangs her head. You shame me, friend. I have put my lust for knowledge before a good man's freedom. That is not the path to enlightenment. Perhaps your way is. I will do this. Okay, looks like we've succeeded here. The 4 people you talked into helping Riss start chanting, Free the prisoner! Free the prisoner! Let him go! Let him go! Spurred on by their passion, or maybe just bored, the rest of the crowd begins to pick up the chant. Mob mentality on our side now. Free the prisoner! Free the prisoner! Let him go! Let him go! They advance menacingly on the levies and the overseer. The levies edge back, their normally pleasant expression turning into uncertain frowns. The overseer points directly at you. I see what you did, you rabble-rouser. This is your doing. Well, I'm not risking my life to intervene in the fate of a worthless piece of belly trash. If you want him, take him. The overseer signals the levies. Unmake the prisoner's death and retreat. He isn't worth our blood. At his order, one of the levies takes out a device like a circular mirror and squeezes its frame. The mirror spins, flashing shards of light across the death and the umbilical viscera it is wrapping around Riss, and all of it disintegrates. Soon Riss stands alone on the platform as reddish dust swirls away from him. Continue. We gained 40 experience. Sweet. We saved someone who is apparently innocent's life, I guess, from unjust execution. I suppose we'll find out at some time if he really was innocent. There, cries the overseer to the crowd, satisfied. With that, he and the levies turn and march away as the crowd surrounds the platform and cheers. Continue. All right. Riss. As the levies march off and the crowd disperses, Riss stands by the gibbet, not quite recovered from his ordeal. Finally, he raises his head and focuses on you. If you're the one who got me out of that nightmare, thank you. But where's that? His eyes settle on Tiber. There you are, you slippery bastard. Now where's the money? If I went through that hell for nothing, I'll... Oh, did we get deceived? He chokes with emotion. A whole day, Tiber. I spilled my guts up there for a whole day. He steps back, spreading his hands. Yes, about the money. You see, Riss, I was hoping to get a reward for turning in the fellow who sold us that brandy without telling us about its secrets, but... But, Riss snarls, there's always a but when it comes to money, isn't there, Captain? You have it every day except the day you're supposed to help a friend. I should have known. You only said you'd pay me so I wouldn't squill on you, and you only saved my skin to save your own. He smacks his fists together. Now, am I going to have to fight through your friend to get to you, or are you going to step out from behind him and take it like a man? Listen, calm down. Tell it from the beginning, Riss. But do that next time, please, because we need to put a cut in here. This video has gone on a little too long. So, if you have enjoyed this further look at Torment Tides of Numenera beta, please leave a like below. It really does help. Consider subscribing to the channel so that you can be notified when I upload new content. And until next time, be excellent to each other.